All right. All right. Mike's been kind of funny. Hopefully Mike sounds good. Stop the music. Some bloopers. Adam Jones been a while. Okay, not a very good blue. Oh, there goes down the ref. Down the ump. We got a show. Just make sure the audio's good. Good to see Samia Grail Hunter. Ruben Snyder for the first time. Spike is back. Blasphemous. Different crowd. A lot of different people in the chat today. Welcome. Big Max is back. Some Recon Willie. And I'm sure some more regulars will show up. But I definitely I have a show planned for you. And well, I mean, I want to jump right to it. I'm not going to wait very long. We're going to get right to it. And a lot has happened over the past 3-4 days. It looks like someone's trying to call in, but it says device not connected. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Tomorrow night, I have a big show for calling in. Tomorrow night, if we fast forward, we'll just shout it out real quick. Rhonda Sports Card Queen's going to give her take on a lot of things, plus other female content creators. So that'll be interesting. Hardcore Collector, AIH Sports Cards, and Chris Sewell. So plus the voicemail. So tomorrow should be a pretty packed call-in show, which should be fun. I kind of have usually 60 slides here, so I kind of have quite a show. I don't know if it'll take us 30 minutes to an hour. John's here, Pencil's back, Blasphemous. And we also have someone that's going to help behind to show the comments. They're not quite here yet, so they're running a little late. So a lot more comments should be shown. But yeah, it's going to be a show. I have basically, a lot's happened. So let's document just what's happened, because a ton has happened. We'll get in all of it. Anyone up there, there'll be mentioned. I know people have messaged me, hey, are you going to do anything about Neo or Dustin taking down a video? Hey, you know what's going on? My whole weekend was, spent on this story. Real quick, 702-483. I won't shout this out much tonight because I'm be busy. 7344. Number 702-483-7344. The best call-in of the year takes home the Aaron Judge auto photo. It's currently $850 on eBay. So anyways, we got best voicemail takes that. Some of the things we'll get into among many. Neo and Dustin take down the videos. Everyone's wondering why on Friday. More came out this weekend, but everyone wondering why. Why did they take them down? What happened? P. Ryan over the weekend accused. Why does that feel like it's spelled wrong? Maybe it's, I don't know, GW and Teapot of shill bidding. So that's the big boom right there. He put the training day thing. It was a big, big story. And so we'll run it. We'll go into that. P. Ryan goes into the apology spree, and a lot more. So I don't want to take a lot of time to wait to jump right to it, because there's a lot of show. So I'm just, what did I want to wait for? Someone? No, I just, a lot of Kenny F. and Powers, Frank the Tank, just seeing who's in the chat. Sven is here, Grail Hunter. All right. Annoy. I think let's jump to it. It's definitely the most prepared I've been for a live, just because it's a kind of a bigger show or a bigger deal, I'd say, bigger story. And so, this podcast didn't go off great. This is some of the brunt of what we're talking about, but we need to move on. Let's move. There's more to the story now. There's more out there. But my weekend was full of this story. I spent 1 hour on the phone with P. Ryan. He shared his story, what happened firsthand. A lot of it you could find in the Collect article that was written today. He states that, he bids on a lot of cards, never intends to bid on his own card. He's sorry for his actions, miscommunication on the Beckett interview. He also sees some flaws that need to be fixed in the bidding systems. And he's also maybe contemplating, from what I'm going to share later, calling some of these things out. Making the hobby better. Now, I mean, it still doesn't forgive his sins or the mistakes or whatever comes forward, but let's make this a moment. Let's make this a teaching, a learning. I'm not going to say break down the system, but things aren't real what you seem. Smoke and mirrors. I've been shouting it forever. Some people, especially Gio studied me a little. He's kind of sounding like me in his latest podcast. I'm like, oh shit, am I listening to myself right there? Why is he sounding so much like me? Studying. studying. It was studying. All weekend, I did my best to research as well as reach out to others to find more about real issues in the hobby, the story. And then Sunday night and Monday morning, we definitely got a show. And, we're going to cover it all. But I think it's good to start in the beginning, at the beginning of the story. And it's a 2-minute video, and it's going to do a better job. It's Dan the Card Man. It just does the best job of explaining all the ways. This is October 23rd, 2025.
Is that a story post was made by P. Ryan talking about some of the cards he had for sale out at Fanatics. And unfortunately for him, and sort of lucky for the rest of the hobby, the screenshot he shared to show one of his auctions ending, and you can sort of see that over here from Paley Cards, he sort of said, another one of mine ending Thursday via Fanatics Collect. The reason why this is interesting is because of that red bar that you're seeing over there, because it does in fact show that he was bidding on a card that he is in fact selling. Now, most auction houses have things in place to prevent people from bidding on their own items, but in this particular instance, this card was consigned through Acquire, who is selling via Fanatics Collect for P. Ryan in this particular instance, meaning he could go ahead and bid on his card. He didn't realize that he shared this screenshot, and then people like Paley Cards question this, where they said P. Ryan Collection is blatantly shilling. Now, the response from P. Ryan is where things get a little bit interesting. He says over here, a very fair call out here, he bid to follow the card because it's not being sold through my account. Of course, if I was doing something intentionally shady, I wouldn't have posted it for the world to see.
So we'll do another 2 minutes this week. But I think let's just start at the beginning, let it unfold, and let's just document kind of what's happened and move on and see. There's a lot of angles, a lot of different storylines. We're going to get to every single one of them. I think it's important. Just let's begin, let the room fill, and start at the very beginning.
Acquire.co is building an account portal to make this non-issue moving forward. But what's really key here is Patrick basically says that he bid on it intentionally in order to follow the card. Now, a lot of people seem to challenge this really quickly because you guys might not be aware, but Fanatics Collect actually has an option for you to watch a card for sale, sort of like you can do on eBay. The website's a little bit clunky in order to follow how you can go back and watch what you've watched, but the app works a lot better. But that functionality is clearly there, and he wasn't aware of it. Now, people would normally do that rather than shill bid on their own card. But like I said, this is sort of where things get interesting, because in the next day, I think it was maybe 48 hours later, he put out this Instagram live, which is still there for you guys to see. And where things get interesting here is that he said he bid on the card accidentally. So going from a flip-flop to what he said over here about intentionally bidding on the card so he could follow it, to it now being an accident. And he talks to it through the lens of him going through and bidding on a number of cards. And then he was like, shit, I bid on my own card. Fuck. And that's essentially what he talks to in this video over here. And he sort of puts the blame on Acquire on this, because he sort of says they need to have things in place to stop this from happening from people that are consigning their own cards. But what I think is that the important point here is that his story went from I bid on it so I could follow the card to now I bid on it by mistake. He said he basically bid on a stack of cards and then didn't realize one of those was his own card. Now, what he talks about here is also very interesting, is that apparently within hours, maybe even quicker than that, I might be wrong, go watch the Instagram live reel for yourself. He talks about contacting Acquire and saying to them, hey, I bid on my own card. Can you look into this? Can you fix it? Can you do something, right? Sort of saying, hey, I did this. Please forgive me. Now, this is one of those things that I just find really hard to believe why the story would change. Like, people don't intentionally go ahead and bid on their things to follow them, right? There's functionality here within those apps. And then my question would be, how many other times has this sort of happened, and this is only being noticed now because you got caught red-handed? And the fact your story's changed makes me really, really uncomfortable. Now, like I sort of say over here, lots of people will be talking about this story. Actually, very little people talked about this outside of Instagram.
All right. So, sorry, Ron is trying to figure out how to get on. You'll stages at the bottom. I won't put you on. All right. Yeah, she's learning. She'll see. Okay. So, few others talked about it at this point. Not many. Kind of these videos. Dan, for sure. Mine, of course. And now there wasn't a lot more of this other content. And it was dying. The story was kind of dying. It wasn't really picking up steam. Time to move on to the next thing. And didn't the professor already talk about this already? Yes, I'm laying down the story. We're going to get to everything, but I just thought it was kind of nice to start from the beginning. So I thought that was the easiest way. He had the receipts. And then this came out last week, the Beckett interview. And we all know that was the meat of everything. That's when, if this did not happen, this would not be what it is right now. And I want, Mary Gamble. I wanted to go to that and just look at some of the comments, because, you know, as I've listened to this again, the mental gymnastics, and part of the reason, I think, at least what Dan the Card Man says, I'm just going off what Dan the Card Man says. He says Neo took the video down because there was a sentence misquoted. But a lot of people took it you know, it was a mumble and then a high pitch. We'll listen to it later, and when we'll get into that whole side of it. I don't want to do it now, but I just want, you know, these comments were not, none of them were positive, none of them were good. You know, so when it first came out, I don't agree with most of what was said here. Actually, a bit surprised, a bit shocked by Dr. Beckett's take, defensive Schilling. As I've listened to this again, the mental gymnastics. So right here, I mean, there's plenty here. This guy doesn't get views on his podcasts, at least on YouTube. And, you know, this is where I got a title. I just copied. This is a shocking admission of hobby corruption. We bid on each other's items at 658. This is disgraceful. And taken out of context, taken out of this, it's still it was normalizing Schilling. I mean, that's kind of what this podcast felt like. We were normalizing Schilling. And so this podcast did not do anybody any favors. And in this podcast, Probstein got thrown under the bus. Well, it's hilarious. His new snipe, and the week snipe comes out. Someone else brought this up to me, is that here we are throwing pubs. Oh yeah, consigners can bid on their own cards, no problem. He threw that out there, like bad timing for Probstein. Thrown under the bus, shots fired, taking strays there. So a real problem is, and that's what I really want to focus on tonight. P. Ryan's going to take, but he's taking a beating, all right. And he will. I mean, he just, you know, he says mistakes deserve some consequences. But I do want to focus on the bigger issues here. A real problem that consigners can list a card in auction house, and then the person who owns the card, not K, but can bid on their own card knowingly. I mean, it's just, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. And this is one of the bigger issues at hand. And it seems like a relatively easy fix. You know, it seems like there's some things you could do to fix this problem. And I want that to be one of the talking points the next few, moving forward. This is an issue. You shouldn't be able to consign your card and then they list it, and then somehow, because let's not talk about P. Ryan. It's anybody can act in this way. Anybody, and this highlights it. And anyway, sports. I don't know. Rhonda was here for a second, left. Rhonda, when you get down there, no one's gonna see you. You know, you're just gonna put the comments there. Anyways, Friday night. Let's jump to Friday night. So Neo and Dustin takedown videos. Everyone's wondering why over the weekend. I did some homework. I reached out. I found out. You know, he kind of mentions in the comments why. But this was on part. This was a big story. Why? I've been hit up by several people. Are you gonna make a video on it? Are you gonna talk about it? What's going on? And so, you know, it goes a little deeper. According to Neo, it was a lawyer that reached out to him. So he felt maybe a little intimidated, a little bullied, maybe like he did something wrong. And he told me, and I think he's told many others, that, you know, his card channel's supposed to be fun, and it wasn't a fun weekend for him. And so it's just easier to take it down, move on. Now, what happened was, when he addressed it in his video, same thing with me when I communicate with him. He has an interesting communication style, and it kind of bit him here. Was that instead of being up front in the beginning of his YouTube video, he danced around the issue. And I think his viewers took a little bit of offense to that. And so if we jump over to his comment section was not kind to him. And we could even listen to the beginning of what he had to say.
What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today. Another edition of the weekly sports card market update. But first, a little business to attend to. Earlier this week, I had some reaction content around the Dr. Beckett podcast. And in that content, I decided to use a clip from the podcast. The podcast was an 18-minute conversation. I used about a 2 to 3 minute clip, which can be taken out of context without the full scope of the conversation. So I apologize for doing that. I have, like I said at the top, I have decided to remove those videos. So that is where they went. That is why they are no longer up on the channel. With that being said, let's get down to business and dive into the weekly sports card market update.
All right. So that's, we don't want to do that. That's what he said. He just took a lot of flack for it in his comments. Lost a lot of respect for this channel, defensive control, content removal, not Neo, influenced by something, perhaps. Neo, you'd be the first to call someone out for this bad look. Damn, now Neo selling out. So it just wasn't. He knew he'd take a lot of trash for it. He just didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal with it, according to what this is according to what he told me, at least. Neo treating his longtime Washington fan badly. A few books, and that's I don't understand it. This is avoidable. If you just came out and were more upfront with your loyal followers, which they'll get over it. People will move. It'll be fine. I'd assume maybe take a hit in the moment, but all you had to do was tell us what you told us in the comments. So here's Annoy. Well, it was nice knowing you, Neo. I unsubscribed for your channel, reputation, and credibility are finished with me, removing the show video, completely destroying remaining trust or integrity. Ouch. Did someone ask you to remove the video? Did your sponsors pressures you? Neo said out. Sponsors had nothing to do with this. So, he took a look at it. There's a lot of comments there. I'm still in shock he did this. He always stated when people or manufacturers do stupid stuff, he's always there to call that stuff out. He basically stuck by this motto since I've been watching him. After that, I realized those were just empty words. Ouch. Brother, get on here. Defend yourself. What type of third party would contact someone in the situation? He ends up telling us in the... And now what Dan the Card Man thinks is it's where he talks about my friends, and that's the quote. And again, I don't know if that's the issue, but that's what Dan the Card Man seems to think. And in real time, if you're not reading along and if you're not told what he says, it sounded like a mumble and then a new sentence of my friends. And even still, I find that to be semantics, because your friends are not, and I understand you don't want to tell you you're incriminating your friends. Of course not. But the intent of the story was to kind of normalize shill bidding. Why tell the story at all? So to me, I use the word justify, but really normalizing is the better word. This was just normalizing shill bidding and setting a narrative, to me, that he doesn't want to be attached to. Clearly, he doesn't want to be attached to that. And so why tell the story in the first place? Why bring any of it up in the first place? That's the part I can't understand. Is okay, he wants to, and again, I'm only going off what Dan the Card Man says. I have no clue about anything. I'm just going off of what Dan the Card Man says about this little piece. So I'm speculating, but to me, okay. And by the way, there was much of the internet that kind of heard it the same, that they couldn't tell it was a little. We could listen to it really quick, and maybe you'll hear it, maybe you won't. I think once you're read it or told it, sure, but in the moment, it's a little bit, it was tough to tell.
I'm saying at that price, count me in, I'll buy it back. A number of people came and say, my friends, we bid on one another's items just to protect them because we're not going to let some other idiot get a really good deal.
Then again, it was like, it's tough. So he's upset about it, and fine, let's remove your friends. But why even tell this story? That's kind of why even go to this route? So, this is what Dan the Card Man thinks Neo is maybe having to take the video down for. I have no idea. I'm only speculating from what I'm hearing from others. I have no clue. All right, we got that working. Awesome. So that's kind of my take on that part. And we're not even halfway. I mean, we're not even close to through the story. So on Sunday night, this is when the holy shit moment, the moment that it's like, oh, please. Look at you. Do not delete your text messages. They can be retrieved. And the act of deleting them may make you look more guilty. This is something that our boy P. Ryan posted. I'd like to make 2 points. Lots of text messages are being deleted in real time, and I see all of y'all. And unlike Hammer 30 million can't hurt me. Hey, man, he was on one Sunday night. Yay! Playing so appalled in the background. Ooh-wee. He was on one Sunday night. Pissed. It's a rough time for the guy, you know. It's a rough time. GW paid S to bid on his Curry card to prevent a low comp. At the bottom, he says he paid NT, speculation. I mean, you could speculate for yourself, a high up person. He paid NT for the upcharge, so to get a favorable comp. Then you could say, okay, GW is a lot of the hobby heroes are deleting text messages and eBay emails in real time. It's so sad that some teapot was spilled earlier this week. Keep deleting your texts with another Piston super collector. None of us are paying attention. What does this man know? And that's one thing when I talk to him, I'm like, you know stuff. You know. Ooh-wee. What exactly does P. Ryan want to say? Anyway, you know, after this, he kind of he moved. He really was important to him to apologize publicly. And so I think he got the chance to do that. And I have some callers right now, but I'm going to be honest. I kind of have something. I want to get through this first. I have a lot. I'd first rather tell the entire story, and then I'd rather hear, you know, I'd rather take callers. But I've kind of prepared something. I'd rather go through this, and then, you know, the callers that want to call and give their take, I'd love to hear it then. So this is what came out on Instagram on Sunday night. And then we got confirmation of who he was talking about. And he didn't go lightly. I mean, he did not go lightly. I think he was feeling a certain way Sunday night. Shillbitter protects Pistons Prism prices. Bad man. Should go to jail. I mean, he's not pulling any punches here. Caught red-handed manipulating low-end Piston prices. Jail, bad man. I will not forgive you. So pompous. I will die with this fucking grievance. He didn't say fucking. I added that for effect because that's how this feels. This is how this reads to me. Bad man. And then on the right, by the way, he has two Instagrams, is P. Ryan and this uncut cardboard. So what's worse? A, being so broke, you're shill bidding $20 Piston cards. Or B, you pay your employees so little that their $20 Piston cards are their retirement savings. I mean, that shit just funny. He was feeling away Sunday night. Oh, sometimes that's a good way to feel. I mean, you think they'll have to address this now, and let's be fair. Fucking Sports Card Radio. Excuse me, I try not to throw so many F-bombs. Sports Card Radio is coming on at 7 after this. And my guess, my take, some hot takes. P. Ryan might make an appearance. I don't know. Another hot take is they're going to focus on this Jeff and Teapot stuff, and I think they've been they love it. They love it. Ryan reaches out to me, and it's such a love-hate relationship. He's gay. He's also says he's looking for sponsors. So am I, by the way. But Arena Club up yours. I'm never. But I wouldn't also be surprised to see them ripping some Arena Club based off their last live. So, anyways, back to the story here. These guys know each other, so it's not like they've never met. It's not like they've never done business or made content. Up, up. What's happening?
Of it
Oh, here
now,
we go. All right,
Doctor.
hold up.
Of it now.
Chill out, chill out. AIH is supposed to call in tomorrow, and I'd be very. He had me looking up a case, and the Spiegel brothers versus Ken Golden, and man, is that an interesting case. So I don't know if we'll get in that tomorrow, but that's something we'll definitely look at in the near future.
Of it now, Dr. Beckett interview with P. Ryan is still up there, and they talked about defensive shield bidding and offensive shield bidding. I've never heard those terms before, but you know,
I like that line.
you learn something new every day. Shield bidding is shield bidding, period, full stop. Okay. Now, if you want to have a different term, then you could talk about that, but I'm not going to go back into it. Now, what went down the other day on Instagram was insane. But it started out with this video with Jeff Wilson, shield bidding scandal, industry leaders defend bidding on their own cards. He's referring to, once again, Dr. Beckett and the P. Ryan interview. And last night, and now these are
if you're
posts on Instagram.
Hey, pause. If you're unfamiliar with AIH, he's one. He hasn't gained a ton of traction, but he used to be on the Sports Card Radio Lives occasionally. He's one of the only ones that keeps it real, talks about this kind of stuff. It's a little dry, we'd love some energy, entertainment as well, but he does do a great job of calling out what he thinks is unfair, not right.
This Cardboard Life put it together. I had it on my stories too. He actually found out about this story through my Instagram. So, make sure to take screenshots.
Hey now.
Because it could come in handy. Okay?
Okay. I love it.
This is the P. Ryan collection.
Oh, okay. I love it.
And I want to go first to this, because this was, I think, posted first. This was at Jeff Wilson and Uncut Cardboard, which is also the P. Ryan Collection's other Instagram account. He says, do not delete your text message.
AIH says, I bought subscribers. Hey, you're wrong. You're definitely wrong. I mean, when you have when you go get the only interview from a PSA interview, or when you make good fucking journalistic videos on Arena Club, those videos blew up. I took them. I made one with the 12 whatnot scams. 50,000 views. So do you think after 3 years of hard work, I'm just going to buy subscribers? So I'm a little disappointed to hear that. Maybe we go back and forth on that tomorrow. Nope. Everything organic on this channel. Everything hard. Hey, you really want to know? Hard fucking work sometimes pays off. You want to run a marathon, you're not going to do it in a day. It means putting on your shoes, lacing them up, and going to run even when you don't want to. And that's the same mentality I take into other things in my life. I'm telling you, my master's, I learned a lot, but running a marathon taught me more than college did. Running a marathon taught me that you can accomplish anything. When I started, I couldn't run half a mile, breaking up with my girlfriend in a bad way, getting overweight, and I ended up running 26. So no, sometimes putting in extra, putting in the details, making the phone calls, sometimes that's how business and things do, and that's how endeavors become successful. I did not buy any subscribers. Screw that. We'll listen to his last minute. Now I'm kind of pissed off that I heard that.
Messages, they can be retrieved, and the act of deleting them makes you look guilty. I found that to be quite interesting, because why are you tagging Jeff Wilson? Probably because of something like this video, and how P. Ryan has been quiet on some of the hanky-panky that Jeff Wilson has engaged in. Could be that.
Could be that. Could be that. So anyways, let's give some... hey, here I am giving AIH some love. He's talking shit on me. No. But, I think he's a Sports Card Radio guy. So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. Where are we? So then this happens. I get messaged this today. This is AIH Sports on the left, and this is Ryan Sports Card Radio on the right. On the left, Teapot's blocked me, so I had to ask his boss. Comedy. This is entertaining, if nothing else. The Teapot shill bid. Jeff Wilson did respond. No. He said no. So, okay. And then on the right, Ryan asked, didn't you, going back, didn't you need 2 PPP loans though? And Jeff maybe comment, I'm not sure. I think Ryan added this. It's only worth suing people with a positive net worth. Yours wasn't repossessing your fake Rolexes. Damn, Jeff firing shots. Jeff didn't used to fire shots like that. Jeff firing some shots. Then this was sent to me this is 2 hours ago. So, I mean, this is very recent. And it says, I assume this is P. Ryan here, Real Housewives level drama. I think he's asking if he'll call in tonight. What's the deal with Jeff? He says, my mother's dying, so maybe tomorrow. Jeff, like all high-end sellers, has protect his sales. I mean, I don't really want to share comments too much on the right. This is what he told me, but I mean, I figured I'm not big on that. I should call. Here's what I love. I should call out everyone. I should call out. Why don't you? Oh, my friend, I may go nuclear still. All these motherfuckers have protected cards, and I have proof, but I have no credibility, rightfully so. So my data is accurate, but my data is accurate. We all want the receipts, brother. We all want the receipts. Over to me. I'm a smart man, but I'm going scorched earth. You have my cell. So the guy's feeling a certain way. Now, things changed a little Monday. Things did change a little Monday. Monday morning, I knew talking to him, it was important to him to get out a public statement. And I think the best advice is let's lay low, but it was very important to him. So I'm sorry for bidding carelessly in many auctions. As a collector, one should be very deliberate in their approach to buying. It's wrong to not be more careful. I'm so sorry for bidding on a card I was selling. It's wrong to do that. I wish you would have said this right off the bat. No Beckett interview, no other statements. This is just what should have happened right away and move on. In general, the content I've seen on bidding and auction house rules has been very good. Okay, if even at my expense. Collectors now better understand how auctions work and how payment terms vary. All right, I'm not quite sure how much I like that. Here we go more. I'm sorry for not defending my... Let's read the middle one. I'm sorry for going on Dr. Beckett's podcast. While I knew I was being recorded, I didn't consent to it being released after the discussion. So now a little shots fired at Beckett. Now, I mean, Beckett's a little bit on a hot seat too. I've heard, he's going to go on the Hobby Hotline, which will do its best views in years on November 22nd. Orlando will be on. Several others will be on. And I know they want to ask. And he has several ways of doing this. And someone mentioned this to me, not original thought. He very well could say, I'm not going to address this publicly right now, or I'm not giving any statements. Let's move on. I have no clue. But, P. Ryan making sure to say, Beckett, bro, what's up here? The interview was just not good for either party. I'm sorry for not defending my stance that I'm okay with my items going below market at auction. Dr. Beckett said I was wrong for being okay with bad comps. I'd like to restate, I think it's okay for auctions to underperform. Ultimately, if you send in 10 items to an auction, 3 will do worse. 3 will do expected, and 3 will do better, and 1 will be a wild card. It all works out. To the right here, I allowed it to be released because I felt it was an important topic. So that's kind of different. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but here it's, I didn't consent, but over here I allowed it to be released because I felt it was an important topic, but I made some mistakes. I'm sorry for not confronting him when he admitted to bidding on friends' cards. So he's saying Beckett admitted to bidding on friends' cards, unsure. That is not appropriate, and nor should I have made it. And I should have made it clear. So, I mean, I wish you would have, if you just kind of know the Beckett interview hurt so bad. The Beckett interview really did. It hurt both gentlemen. I'm sorry for not informing Acquire and Fanatics Collected my mistake. That was wrong. Being outbid by the time I realized my error was not justification for not telling them that was wrong. So, I mean, he got it all out here. He definitely got it all. I'm sorry to Fanatics Collect and Acquire for using their resources to research the matter. This goes even deeper. Because he says he's using their resources. I've been unable to bid or sell on Fanatics Collect, and that is fair. Mistakes have consequences. To that point, I will continue to defend myself against allegations on shill bidding. I made a mistake of bidding on my own card, but I didn't shill it. While bidding on my own card is bad error, it's legally different than shill bidding. I'm sorry for not making it clear that even in an auction house allows people to bid on their own items or even allows proxy to bid on your items per state law. It's not appropriate hobby behavior. And that's a big one that was kind of missed in that whole interview, which now a lot of people have heard. That interview completely contradicted this, that it's not appropriate behavior. And that's accurate. That'd be accurate. So he was supposed to go on a related panel in New York City this week. He apologizes in lieu of that appearance. He's making a $50,000 donation to the Jackie Robinson. Hey, gotta love Jackie, but maybe made him feel a little better. But here are two comments that I do want to linger on for the positive. I'm sorry for reviewing documents from a marketplace that showed private bid history. That seems like a problem. And unfortunately, there are many issues with bidding for friends, protecting cards, etc., but this isn't the platform for litigating that matter. I mean, it's going to be hard to turn around the public image. However, exposing all the dirt and cleaning up the hobby is hopefully what happens with this. He's saying there's issues, and we're going to get into those issues shortly. There are definite bigger issues, and P. Ryan happened to be the boom that hopefully shows, gets the narrative talking about the bigger problems. Like, why the hell can this even happen? I also imagine everyone is going to be more careful about how they bid and who they allow to bid on their behalf. Don't bid on here we go. Let's get a little Don't bid on items you own or you have a financial interest in. Don't ask friends to bid on those items. Booyah. I mean, that's really well, come on. I wish this came out right off the bat. And or even nothing. And the Beckett interview, I mean, it's just hard after the Beckett interview. But this is exactly what should have been said, and this is exactly right. Don't bid on your items. Don't bid on your friends' items. And don't bid on items you have financial interest in unless you're trying to buy the card. He finally says, since I won't be actively monitoring my messages, if you need something, just text me. Maybe not share my number. He shares his number, whether it is the same number, through my way. I don't know if it's a second account, his normal number. Who knows? It's a little crazy sharing your number. Here's the data so far. This was posted this morning. 1 death threat, 5 requests for cash assistance, all which I honored. 210 messages of encouragement and support. 0 haters with the balls to say I did anything wrong. I mean, there's plenty of that in the YouTube comments. Infinity, my appreciation for y'all, bro. He's trying. Also, don't DM strangers admitting you have had friends bid on your items or have friends that do that. While I appreciate your intent, your confessing to me doesn't do either of us any good. Just stop doing it. And finally, thanks to so many collectors. Today, Collect finally, who he's a investor in or part owner in this, Darren Ravel site. We'll talk about that whole thing later, and it's coming up here shortly. Fanatics Collect does not. We'll start from the bottom. Fanatics Collect responded by pulling the item from the auction. Ryan told Collect Tuesday, so that's today, P. Ryan, his account has been restricted from bidding at Fanatics Collect, but he's unsure how long that will last. And I know for him, it's a lot easier to swallow a shorter suspension. I know it's important to him not to get banned forever. Fanatics Collect does not comment on individual cases. The company told Collect, trust and integrity are at the core of our platform, and we take appropriate steps to uphold such principles. The remaining question for P. Ryan, and then we keep the story moving, is does Fanatics keep him on the platform or ban him long term? And again, in talking with him, I know that's pretty important to him. I'm definitely not losing the room. It's only growing, so chill out. And then be patient. There's a lot of story here. A lot of story. At this time, no legal action has been taken on any of these people. I think that's pretty important to say. I believe, and here's where we go. You want me to is bids at auction houses should become public record moving forward. And that should be something that's talked about. It's simple. It's an easy ask. It's not complex. It's not complicated. It is a very easy ask to say that all auction house bids should just be public. And I'm sure there's some other sides to it or reasons why they aren't, but they just should be. And that avoids some of this. It wouldn't take care of all the problem, but it seems like a relatively easy fix. It's one step in among many that can make it better. And, I'm pretty skeptical. I've never met Probstein. I've never talked to him, but I'm leery of the high ups in this business. But Snipe records every name attached to every bid. So whether there's still ways, I'm sure, around it, I'm still sure there's some issues, but it's a step in the right direction that Snipe records every name on every bid. Everyone can see it's not the same dude winning half of this guy's cards. Every bid, every day, every week, every year. And so I've already said this, but one way to tackle this issue is to have every bid and record be public knowledge. It seems easy to implement and track. And from what I understand, Snipe is currently providing this, and I don't know much else, but we're not even done. Some other crazy news happened to me. Over the weekend, I was offered an advisory role. And for now, I'm not going to say the company or who, but it was a 5-figure offer. That's right. And I turned it down. It was not the right fit for me at this time. So I was offered a 5-figure offer over the weekend. And I just didn't feel comfortable taking the money. So for now, that's where we'll leave that. But it was a very interesting weekend, calling people, getting stories, hearing this side, hearing that side. Is this, what would you, what would that? And then this was just another it's just, turning a 5K figure offer isn't easy. Not easy. And then in about an hour and 15 minutes, these gentlemen are coming out of a semi-retirement. Ryan told me he doesn't really want to be on YouTube anymore. He doesn't really, he's kind of over the cup. But here we go. This is a big story. Hey, Ziggy, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. Oh, Gio, you've been talking to everybody all weekend too. Don't even give me that. I heard you talk to this guy. You talked to that guy. You shot your show yesterday. We were talking about vacation. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it very much. So these guys are coming on at 7 p.m. live, not on my show, but they're going live. And here's Sports Card News, which is Ryan's. Who are we putting on here? I didn't add anyone. All right. I don't know. Rhonda's having some issues tonight, but she's doing a great job figuring it out, getting most of the comments out there. But anyways, I'm going to read this a little wordy, but worth the words. Just 2 weeks after P. Ryan was exposed for shill bidding, he took to Instagram and started dropping major allegations against fellow hobby hero Jeff Wilson. The explosive claims. P. Ryan accused Jeff Wilson of paying an individual to artificially bid up his own Steph Curry out of 5 Topps Now autograph card. He referenced a mysterious person referred to only as S in the Instagram post. Their full identity remains unknown, but the implication is clear. This was allegedly coordinated price manipulation. This comes off the heels of Wilson creating controversy when he publicly admitted he was fine paying PSA upcharge to grade the same Curry card. Now, P. Ryan is suggesting the upcharge may have been part of a broader scheme to inflate the card's value. All speculation, all I want to hear more on, and all very, very interesting. But P. Ryan didn't stop there. He also directly accused Teapot, an employee at Sports Card Investor, of systematically manipulating the low-end Detroit Pistons card market, driving up prices on cheaper cards or create artificial demand and scarcity. We all want receipts. We all want to hear it from P. Ryan. We all want to hear what News Sports Card Radio has on this. P. Ryan just appeared on a podcast with Dr. James Beckett, where both made some highly questionable admissions, to say the least. The most damning, P. Ryan openly said that he and his collector friends routinely bid on each other's cards at auction, not to win them, but prevent some idiot from getting a good deal. So now that's the exact sentence maybe Dan the Cardman thinks there's some qualms with. And again, it's hard to that's how a lot of people have taken it. Exactly how this is said, especially in the comments, especially on other posts. Neo made a video taking it that way. Dustin made a video taking it that way. So, it was easily interpreted that way, especially if you're not reading along with what he's saying. That's textbook collusion and likely illegal. P. Ryan is an investor in Collect, the Darren Ravel website. And again, this was the big news in the text. Maybe I should call everyone. I was wrong here. Jeff, like all high-end sellers, has protect his sales, but it was wrong for me to call him out. I should call out everyone. And then Ryan, the little instigator he is, why don't you? Oh, my friend, I may go nuclear. Hey now! Ay. So, now let's move to what are people thinking? How does this affect things at the moment? Currently, people are already wondering, shit, was I shill bid on a recent pickup? And we've uncovered here in the past 4 months how weird some of these card prices have been. I mean, cards just don't. I've heard all the people say, oh, they're moving into this, they're moving into that. This is the big one. This is the right card. Cards still don't quadruple, triple, go by 5x in 4 months. So will this scare people from bidding? That's our next question. Is this whole now talk going to scare people away from bidding?
A $50,000 donation to somebody because he can't go to a thing. That's fine. I messaged him to come on the show because I knew we were going to talk about it, and I wanted to at least give him.
Okay.
Here's what he's saying. Okay.
So here, I'm not a big Boston Hard Card Hunter, but hey, if Boston Card Hunter wants to take the right side and make the damn hobby better, so this is an auction house who he didn't want to say, and Gio says in the past he would have said, and he said it's a big auction house, and this auction house doesn't care if you bid on your own card. Why? Because either way, they get paid.
The guy says, hey, morning, there's only 5 watchers, 4 including me. What marketing is being done so we can keep an eye out? And the person representing the auction house, his rep, says, marketing is doing an IG story this week. He said, very cool, I'll keep an eye.
All right, I'm reading it. Here we go. Also, quick question. My brother, who doesn't live with me, depending on the auction price, was interested in I don't know. I told him, I don't know if that's allowed or not to bid on the card. As long as the item is paid, we have no problem with whoever bids. He even asked the question, apart from myself, I'm assuming, if you won your own card and it was paid, it wouldn't be a problem either way. If you're bidding it up with no intent to pay, that would have a problem. Interesting, good to know. So as long as you're bidding it up and you're going to pay for that card, bid it up as high as you want. But this leads to problems, and this can't be how auction houses think. This is terrible. So I do want to hear what they have to say on that, but and they get into a couple other things, but that's just auction. There's a big auction house out there that doesn't care if the guy bids on his own card, wins it, and pays for it. Hello, this is P. Ryan's going to take the shots here. This is a much bigger deal. And right now we need more and more people acting serious and not for games, not for business, not for fun. Let's clean this shit up.
You're bidding it up. Even if you intend to pay, you are manipulating the sale of your card.
Correct.
Like that's I don't understand the justification though. People are like, no, but I'm going to pay. I'm not asking. I understand you're going to pay. P. Ryan was going to pay if he won his own auctions, I'm sure. The problem is you are now inflating. You are a non-interested buyer who's going to buy it so that other people outbid you. You're manipulating the comp here.
Yeah. And the domino is it manipulates the second, third, fourth, fifth card down.
By the way, I have to say it because it's a record for the channel, but we had the peak 265 people in here. Awesome. Really cool. Let's keep going. There's more. We're not done. There's more.
On the line.
Correct. Yeah.
It's the whole market.
I just don't understand. And this is coming directly from an auction house. Nick was way kind. He has gone soft, by the way, because in years past, he would have absolutely blasted which auction house this was and exposed the rep and everything else. He was very calm, which I don't find nearly as entertaining. But I do. My biggest takeaway, I just think this happens way more than we think it does. And especially right now when there's people being vocal about it.
Now, here's the part I was like, damn, Gio was just taking lessons. Sorry, Gio, but you're taking lessons over here. This sounds like me. This motherfucker taking lessons.
I really start to wonder.
Never, ever, ever. I mean, he might be on the fence on something, say some things. He certainly doesn't bring this attitude onto this show.
Is artificial and what's real.
But yeah,
hey, who the hell's been saying that for months? Who the hell has been saying that? Oh, you're such a hater. Oh, you're so negative. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, everything's to the moon.
If you're willing, and there's always the other
Who
side too.
hell's
Would
this
you,
guy?
would you want this to be done to you?
Gio, pay me $200,000 a year and let's make it happen. Who the hell is this guy? $200K a year, and I will devote my life to making the best card content possible. Fucking SpongeBob on the SpongeBob.
No, I want to win a card for what I want to win the card for.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Here's the other thing I always hear too is, well, just because in years past, people, and I think I've probably said the same thing, well, just bid what you're comfortable paying, and then you can never be bid up. That also is not true, though. Like, if it's your card and it's sitting at 500 and the other comps are 800, I say, okay, I'd like to, I'll pay the 800, but I'd like to get a deal, obviously. If it's just me and you bidding.
By the way, I've sold a lot of cards in my life. I mean, not to the extent some of these people have. I've definitely sold a lot of cards. Have I ever once fucking bid on my own card or even had the thought? Nope. Have I ever once had the thought, let's have a friend bid on my card? Nope. If you want to put it up for auction, that's the risk. Then create a buy it now and let it sit. One of the reasons you put cards up for auction, I heard, is, to get the most out of it. No, that's actually not fucking true. A lot of times you put a card up for auction so it will sell and you can turn it over. If you want the most for it, no, you create the buy it now price and wait for someone to pay.
You bid me up to 800. Yeah, that's all I was going to bid anyways, but I shouldn't have got there. It's still, I don't know. I have a real, I don't know. The defensive bidding thing was different. It was like, well, it's a $10,000 card and I'm bidding $1,000 just to keep an eye on it. I mean, I could almost understand that part. Like,
No.
Okay, fine. I guess you're not manipulating because it's so beneath the price.
It just doesn't matter. It adds one other sale instead of a big fat zero. Ooh, someone's interested in this card.
But this thought of just like, well, as long as you're paying, it doesn't matter. I'm like, this is not true. Like, I'm not sure where this thought started. And it makes me nervous when guys like Nick talk about this because Nick rolls in the high end circles.
Hey, this is the end here. It's kind of an important part, I thought, and I agree with this to the max.
And he specifically told me, I texted 8 to 10 of my friends today and he said, like, values north of.
Neo's hearing it. I mean, I kind of want to say take it easy on Neo in the chat. You guys are going so rough. The guy's human. He got pressured. He has a fucking YouTube channel. Excuse me. Yes. I mean, it's not good to not have a stance and stand up, but he also feels a little pressured, in my opinion. I only know what I know.
10 million, like extremely wealthy people. And his thing was, I don't think you should be touching anything high end right now. He feels like the whole game right now is just like that, shilled and just being totally manipulated. And it does make you wonder, like, I live in the world.
I was going to post that too. Hey, Penny Sleeve, thanks, man. Said that tonight's been superior content. I really had some time. I had today off. It's been a big story all weekend. So I had some time to put into this. A lot of times, we're just kind of, I wouldn't say winging it, but I have my things. I put some time into tonight.
World of cards much less valuable. I don't think people are just being totally manipulated. And it does make you wonder, like, I live in the world of cards much less valuable. I don't think people are manipulating $800 cards that I'm buying, or
they are. By the way, right now, the way some of these card prices, yes, they're stupidest things are going on right now with hike ups, and we're not quite sure why. Let's let them finish.
Even $10,000, $20,000 cards. I don't think it's happening as much there. But on the big crap, it does make you wonder. If you got guys like O'Leary and Shine, everybody else talking about it.
Who's everybody else, by the way? Very few people made content. Everybody else is me. Taking lessons, Gio. Love Gio. That's my guy, but taking lessons. I was the one that was big time skeptical. You know what everyone else said about it? Oh, how good it is for the market. Oh, cards to the moon. Oh, this is great. Because they all love that cheddar. They all want that money. Hey, thank you to our veterans. So this is DC Sports 87. I guess the biggest sports card consigner or biggest sports card sales on eBay. Hey, we're chill. And this is what they had to say. Anytime someone is trying to play the role of both seller and buyer on the same item, it's a clear conflict of interest. Be smart. Let the price dictate price. Be smart and let the market dictate price. We will report any ban and ban. We will report and ban anyone we catch bidding on their own items. The argument that you'd rather buy it back than sell it also doesn't work. Your safety bid, which is fraudulent shill bid, is still affecting the max bid and ultimate sale price. And not only affecting the max bid, it's affecting what you think the demand is for the card. That's just what it is. You put in a bid, that $10,000 card, you put a floor 1,000, someone else bid. Okay, I'll still willing to pay 3. Let's just hike it up just a little more. Well, now you've placed 2 bids that it looks like there's more demand for the card. Even if you place the first bid, someone's got to pop the cherry. Someone's got to break the seal. Stephen M., thank you for the $5, bro. What's that, $25 tonight? Hey, dinner for maybe 2 nights. Thank you, gentlemen. So, and finally, let's just read the last slide here. There is no such thing as defensive shill bidding. As AIH said, he's never heard the terms offensive shill bidding and defensive shill bidding. And that's probably a pretty accurate statement. I'm betting that none of you, and that's the crazy thing about that interview, is they just tried so hard. I don't even know if they meant to, and maybe, I mean, I don't know. You clearly say, hey, that's the way, I don't even give him credit, but maybe. Like, it was so normalizing or creating a narrative that everyone's doing this. It's all good. Everyone this is this. And it worries me, or a thought that has to pop in your head when you hear some of this is like, is there like, just in a little elite room that some of these conversations, that's how they talk? Is there in a little elite place where some of this is how they really think? And that worries me. So the more like DC Sports, who is a big name in the industry, the more that, I'm shilling Gio, the more he comes out and sounds like me, the more that baseball, there's some Instagram, don't I have it here? David C, $10. That's the most money I ever made on a live. $35. Thank you, gentlemen. Awesome. That's really awesome. The shill business, Ballpark Cards, continues to do this. And he's right. The shill bidding scandal is exploding. Influencers, breakers, market experts, some of the loudest voices in cards are allegedly bidding on their own stuff to fake hype and pump cards. We call it fraud. Ouch. It's one of the few times I've seen in the last 5 years since COVID. What the hell happened here? I don't know what. All right. It's one of the first times in the last 5 years since COVID I've seen the hobby almost all come together. Almost all have a similar taste. Is Jeff shaking in his boots? Someone mentioned, like in his video, his shill bidding video, he kind of was, and we watched it on the live. He had a weird vibe to him, that video. That's all I'm going to say. So this is good. This is good. And this leads me to my next point coming up. So, and I said this on a live recently, so I'm going to let these words talk and then I'm going to say it again. You see, I'm telling you, something's going to change. And I'm going to, well, can I take credit? I won't take credit because it's Sports Card Radio that does what I said was the first, but they left. AIH, but nah, this shit's boring. Oh, God, I'm being rude here. Sorry, AIH. It is a little dry, but informative. Sports Card Radio tonight at 7. In my DMs, he's such a troll to me. He's such an aggressive troll. I think it's good. Let's hope it doesn't disappoint, because the last 2 lives, none of us were in love. So I have a feeling they got plenty to say tonight. They would not be coming live if they didn't. But let's finish what I have to say here. Much effort besides your opinion upon it, but he does talk in that. And then Dan the Card Man, a lot more negative content eventually. There it is. There it is. More negative content eventually. One more time. See a lot more negative content eventually. It's just what it is. And guess what? When news is telling you the housing market, great time to buy, great time to buy, great time to buy. Hey, people think it's a great time to buy. When the news is telling you, oh shit, not a great time to sell, not a great time to buy, really bad time to sell, really bad time. Guess what? The narrative is, so when you start seeing more stuff like Ballpark Cards here saying the hobby's rigged, which all of a sudden you're going to start seeing more of, and then maybe it doesn't matter about the economic downturn. It doesn't matter about the economy falling. There's going to be more people in the camp of Professor Sports Cards making content like this, pushing more of this narrative, and then more people like Charles wake up to the bullshit. Shout out. So the media does drive a narrative. That's it. And so I always thought maybe it's with it's combined with the downfall of crypto or the stocks when they have a bad week, month, year, with the housing market, real estate. But really, all the content of the last 5 years on this stuff has been crazy positive. And what happens when that starts to turn? R7, a new member. Thank you, sir. $5. It gives you some emotes. I'm working on a hey now emoji. It gives you some couple videos, nothing big, one video a month on like behind the scenes, nothing juicy gossip. It's some more personal, but thank you, man. Appreciate it very much. But I got to add you to the bottom also. Scroll, but the more negative content that's provided to people, the more they just don't see everyone being positive, the more that drives a narrative. The more that says, oh, new people don't just come in, look what's happening. Now, one problem is all the breaking content, all the show content, all these King of Cards or Talon. That's just rinse and repeat what they're doing. And what you're going to find here is a line is going to be drawn in the sand. You're going to find out right now, over the next 2 months till the end of the year, who fucking wants change in the hobby. There is an F-bomb because I mean it. Who really wants change in the hobby? Who really wants to clean up the hobby? Who really cares about the hobby? And who the hell just wants to make a goddamn dollar? Not supposed to say that. That's what it is. You're going to find out real soon. And if you're not hip to that and you're not awake to that, to see, hey, these guys, baseball cards, whatever this guy is, Alex, and someone like AIH or myself or Dan the Card Man, or we'll see what Sports Card Radio has to say. You know what? They're going to be speaking the truth. And all these other guys, who? Will it be Boston Card Hunter? Will Boston Card so wishy-washy, so back and forth? Is it going to be him? He does play in the high end. He does know a lot of the important people. Adam Gray's content. What's the other guy's name? Brian Gray, but Adam Gray. This is your chance to show that you really care. That you're not just here talking about card prices, how great they are, how the investments are, what sponsors are what auction house is what. You have deals. By the way, now I'm getting off on a tangent. Jeremy Lee has deals with all these auction houses because he covers them. He has a lot of sway. And these auction houses seem to be a part of the problem. They seem to be implicit in all this. They're making a lot of money. It does. Hey. $20 tonight. Hey, Jamie, thank you. In and out always. A huge positive here. Let's spin this into a positive. How many in the people right now in the hobby have to look at themselves in the fucking mirror? Sorry for the F-bombs. I'm feeling it. This is on it. I've been waiting for this shit to happen. I've been waiting for a woman too, but how many agree with defensive shill bidding? How many have even heard that term before? Beckett, what were you thinking? I think that Beckett has these dinners and Beckett talks to the bigwigs, and this is how some of that conversation goes. He even said I'm not trying to misquote, in the Beckett, he even said, you say this stuff to the general public or the average man and they lose their shit. Well, guess what? The whole hobby doesn't agree. This is how the guys making a ton of money on it talk. Am I wrong? That's how it feels. That's how it comes off. So how many people out there have bid on their own cards right now and are fucking shitting themselves a little bit? And I'm not the only one to say this. There's been many people over the past week that have given a definitive, strong, just like DC Sports. It's wrong to bid on your own card. It's wrong to drive up the price of a card, and it's wrong to pretend like there's extra demand for a card. And that's probably some of the reason we're seeing these crazy spikes over the past 4 months, because none of it makes sense. And more investor money. We got to show this is a good thing. We got to show this is a moneymaker. We got to show we're making money. All right, it's a bit wordy, but let's do it. We're getting towards the end. Ziggy's been dying to say something. The last issue I want to bring up is that a lot of this crowd, the in crowd or a crowd, know each other. Hey now, $50. I was even talking a little trash on my guy Gio. Hey Gio, thank you so much. That's dinner for a week. Hey now. The last issue I want to bring up is that a lot of the in crowd knows each other. They're friendly with each other. They've done business with each other. And this is where the public gets to see who really cares about the hobby and the issues and who just wants to keep profiting off the shadiness of the status quo in the hobby. Which creators really call an act for change? Which creators care about the health and transparency of the hobby and the market? Which creators looked at the Shine 150 $13 million sale? And I can tell you, I was one of the only ones. Dan, a couple others. Which creators looked at the Shine 150 $13 million sale as good for the hobby, and which looked at it as raising some red flags and being skeptical? I would argue that 95% of the content is biased because they're in the business, they aren't giving you the news, and they're giving you the biased business take covered as news. Even when Gio comes on and says, hey, we still criticize, we still do, that's good. That is good. But if all the media is also ran by everyone that has interest in making money in the hobby, well, you don't get true enough media. And Gio called out Collect, because what's his face? P. Ryan's a little investor and are part of it. And Collect hadn't run a story until today now. And I told Gio, well, neither at Sports Illustrated Collectibles, and he's a part of that. And Cardline Breaks, who I actually like, if you go to their site, though, 95% of it's fluff and 5% actually has some really juicy articles. Beckett's they run their own news site. So it's almost all the news sites out there for cards are created by people in the industry to make money off cards. Do we see an issue? Can I get an amen? People want to compare. This is another one that David's going to hate me for this. People want to compare sports cards to other markets like the stock market, crypto, and real estate. And I'm going to argue right now, and it's kind of the truth, that the infrastructure in sports cards is not set up to support a transparent, healthy market, and nor is it incentivized. Penny Sleeve, thanks for being a new member. I'll get your name down there. Hey, we're building a community. Imagine if I always had this much time to come to your lives. People want to compare sports cards to other market like this, and the infrastructure is just not there. The people spending a lot of money right now on high-end stuff, you should be the first ones demanding for better infrastructure. And the infrastructure is not incentivized because they're making a lot of money. And as you saw by what Boston Card Hunter showed, that one big auction house doesn't even care if you win your own card. Because why? Because they're still getting paid. Money, 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 money. Content and media have power. And so if you are a content creator or you fancy yourself part of the media, let's fix a few things in the hobby to where you can make big money and small money feel like it's a trustworthy place to participate. I prepared a lot for that. Oh, we did it. We did it. I think it went damn well. Dan, we covered it all. Dustin pulled his video. Neo pulled his video. Are you kidding me? We went through the whole kit and caboodle. If you don't think I talked about it, you got to rewind. You got to watch again. We talked about everything. And Ziggy has been dying to chime in. And, Ziggy, I just, keep it not too crazy. Do I have anything else I want to get into? Neo just got 8 up in his comments. You pulled it because it was taken out of context. What's the real story behind this? Did Beckett ask you? Everyone just wonders. Everyone was curious. He was very important to him to say sponsors had nothing to do with this. I don't blame him. I think that's the end. Let's see. It's the end of the world as we know it. Wednesday. Kind of a big show again. Rhonda, Sports Card Queen, going to talk about whatever she wants. Plus, chat comments all want to know her take on other female card creators, card content creators. So we'll get it from a female perspective. Hardcore Collector will call in. He has a few bullet points. AIH, who apparently thinks I bought subscribers. Hey, fuck you. Nope. Nope. One of the few. Hey, I could say that very, very feeling good about it. One of the few. And then Chris Sewell should finish us off. I think so. He said he'd call in, and I have a couple topics I want to talk. Plus, we have 5 or 6 voicemails. The voicemail number, by the way, best voicemail wins that Aaron Judge, 702-483-7344. Let's bring in Ziggy. Let's see if I think the echo's fixed. If not, I have a trick to possibly fix the echo. Ziggy's been waiting patiently. Ziggy, talk to see if there's an echo.
Sounds like there's an echo to me.
All right, let me do one thing. Let me see if I can fix it. This is what I checked. Hold up. Do that. How about now? Is there an echo?
I don't know. I still hear an echo to me.
Ziggy hears an echo. Do we have an echo? Echo. I did so much. I think I fixed everything I could fix. Now I have no clue. Is there an echo when Ziggy talks? Somebody in the comments, for the love of goodness.
An echo. I know Charles will hear an echo.
Echo. Echo. All right. Ziggy, yeah. I'll be back.
So just wanted to, share some comments with the audience. Wow, I think it's awesome you guys giving that much money. That is really cool, man. Very, very cool. I want to applaud that.
Thanks for $20, Ziggy.
Did you see the $100, man, and the $50? That's freaking.
Gio, I saw the video. Gave me $100.
$100 from Mike Petty, dude.
Mike fucking Petty for the W. $100. Hey, thank you, Thank you, gentlemen.
I just want to point out, I'm always calm. I got attacked last time, so I'll be calm. This is going to be pretty simple and easy, Professor. A few things. If you can pull up that video of the podcast and you put the manuscript up, the script, you will see P. Ryan says, he refers to it, and I forget the wording, but he does not say my friends. He says something, and then it's cut.
That's right.
So my point is,
and I think that's his issue.
Yeah, Dan just made a video that's like today.
I saw it. We might play it tomorrow. I felt like tonight was a little long.
And this is why I was saying in the chat, and everybody's roasting me like I'm protecting these guys. My point to this is, early on, I knew that, first of all, Dr. Beckett never says he shills either. He says he has some friends, just some cards.
And let me interrupt real quick.
Yep.
I find it all to be semantics. The entire podcast was normalizing and justifying shill bidding.
I don't disagree with you. My point to this, though, is that is why people are getting threatened, because they are posting or they're rewording stuff, in my opinion. Right. So I would be cautious about simply saying, oh, Dr. Beckett's out there saying.
Oh, trust me. I have been. Yes, I am.
So I think that's why. And as far as someone else is commenting, look, all it takes is someone to call you, text message you. I got threats that I was going to get sued before. It's just a matter of, look, is that your business? Like, you're a great content creator because you like the heat. Neo's job's not heat. He puts out content. He's got great.
No, I love the hobby. You know what? There's a difference here. I care about the hobby, and if I wouldn't want to get pressured either. So Neo's justify whatever. I think how he explained it was the issue a lot of his followers had.
Well, I think the way he explained it was also a clarification, retraction, because he's saying, I took a clip and I didn't clarify. I misstated, and that was very fair. That's what I'm saying. It was almost a retraction.
But he didn't say. Oh, you saw the comments. People wanted him just to be more upfront about, hey, he got contacted by a lawyer, and he just didn't want to go through that, and that's a fair point to say.
But here's another thing too. It could have simply been, honestly, it could have been somebody calling him and somebody saying, I'm going to call a lawyer. Like, then he's saying, justify. Well, let me see the lawyer. He just decided, I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm going to take it down. That's all I'm saying. And I applaud him because I like what he does. Right, he brings attention to stuff. He's a news reporter. I'm not going to grill him. Is my point. That I don't care.
Ziggy, just as being in the same boat, I also am coming around. I've watched Neo. I used to watch it. My biggest complaint was the still shot. He's come on. I have no gripes against Neo, but we make as I said, I really believe this is going to be a line in the sand. We need to protect. Whether it's P. Ryan or not, this is a moment that we could look to at bigger things, as you saw in my report here.
I love to make a moment, man, but let me also say this too. I looked at this a little bit, and I encourage other people. In fact, I love Dan's video with Carlos. I think he's the most aggressive. Dan's a lawyer. I see you're going to have him on later on, but I would like Dan to tell me this. I can't find any laws that it's a criminal charge to simply shill in an auction.
You know what? That's above our pay grade.
I understand, but my point is they're not, because of that. it's kind of like trying to get the hobby to make a change because of a seat.
Some people have definitely said, Ziggy, based off what I saw, like that Dan on Carlos's show. No, he said it's
wrong
not legal.
because
He said it's
shilling-
illegal. That's what and he's a lawyer.
I understand shilling leads to the act of fraud.
Fraud. That's right. That's
There's
right.
the fraud that has.
But
to take place.
again, I'm not a
Here's the
lawyer, and
proof
this is
of
out
fraud.
of your domain and my domain,
I
and that's where you
understand,
say
and
be
that's-
sensitive. I'd say be a little sensitive, speculating on the law.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I hope Dan, we can talk to that. But my point to this, though, is people in general, like, you can't call the police and go, look, there's a video. The guy says he's going to shill. The police will not take any action on that. That's
No,
all
but you understand that it's not when you go and get charged for this, it's from what I understand, it's listed as fraud. I think you're right. Ziggy, you were telling me this on the phone. I think this is from what I've heard from other people, you can still approach it in a story. But also, again, this is out of our domain. I'd rather move on. If there was some other people here that with more knowledge
I'm not trying to be that. I'm just trying to say, I hope there's change.
What else? Where else? Let's move on from that point. What else? Where do you want to go with
this? To say is, look, Dr. Beckett, again, there's definitely, he knows this is making a big attention. He's turned down conversations. He will be live on Hobby Hotline on the 20th.
Do you think he will address it or just say, I'm not addressing it right now?
Absolutely think he'll address it because he's part of that group, and he's even kind of given the message of that group, hey, I'm going to address this on Hobby Hotline live. So I'm encouraging people to participate.
No, I said November 22nd. I think it'll be their most views in years, and I think it'll be an important show.
Yes, I agree. It's price fix. Shilling is price fixing, but fraud. But I'm saying the conversation he gave did not give you enough information to charge.
It's fine. I never attacked it for legalities. They kept bringing legal stuff. I find it was all normalizing and justifying shill bidding.
And I am not.
You're not gonna. You were just in the.
I'm just trying to give
that's okay.
I'm just trying to give some explanation why people do things. There's logic sometimes. So anyway, I appreciate you having me on, man. I did want to be on. Thank you. Bye.
Ziggy, have a great night. Hey, good call from Ziggy. Anyone else? What I don't have, we're an hour 20 in. My rant went for over an hour. Apparently, Mike Petty threw $100 my way. Petty, thank you very much. Gio, $50 my way. Thank you. Not to be outshined by the other guys that threw 5 and 20. Thank you, guys. I'm going to share the screen again, go over a little bit more content. And then at 7 o'clock, it's going to be Ryan, Colin. I would assume we're all, what the hell are they going to talk about? Because last 2 times, And he's, to me, he told me he wasn't feeling all inspired for those lives. But I got to imagine that this dude's licking his lips and his chops right now. He is very excited to get on and talk some shit about this stuff. And what does he know that we don't? And will P. Ryan make an appearance? And will they be breaking Arena Club slabs? God forbid. Let's hope not. By the way, I wasn't going to share this tonight. This will be for tomorrow, but let's do some of tomorrow and tease tomorrow. Let's move this over here because there's a couple other big pieces of news. Nothing as big as this. Let me share the screen. And there's a couple other we'll talk about more tomorrow. But SCV Sports Cards took down all his videos. SCV Sports Cards, I'm going to say it again, took down all his videos. So not only has he, the day he bailed on me and Gio, apparently some girl at the gym, everyone in the chat was worried about him. Everybody hasn't made content. He's gone nowhere. I reached out a couple weeks ago. He says he's fine, taking a little break, living life. And next thing you know, a couple days ago, vanished. Nothing. No more videos up. Interesting. What else do we have tomorrow? We'll have to dive into what Sports Card Radio talked about, of course. Unfortunately, Trike is now taking Arena Club money. They're paying fat. I told him, and I'd tell anybody, I don't believe these guys believe in the product. Not that. Fine, they believe in the product. Maybe they'll make a lot of money. My point is, I don't think they would tell their son or the kids go, or even a 20-year-old, 25, this is the best way to play your money in sports cards. This is what you should do in sports cards. And that's just disappointing. They're paying a lot of money, man. Arena Club. One of my friends asked me, what's Courtyard doing? Why is Courtyard not competing? Well, Courtyard just doesn't have Brian Lee money, Derek Jeter money. Rhonda will call in. God, do I want to give this take right now? Let's do it. Why not? We're an hour 20. Anyone wants to call in? The link is at the top. A lot of regulars here now. Orlando, Mike Ham. Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. People say we need more women in the hobby. And Rhonda, I want what Rhonda has to say to this tomorrow. Shit, maybe we put her on right now for a few minutes. Now let's wait till tomorrow. And I'm going to make something I've never heard. This popped into my head today. And I said maybe this hobby doesn't attract women for other reasons. Women are more reasonable. They're better long-term planners. They're less likely to want to scam you out of your money. And they see through this Sigma energy in the hobby. And that's why, no matter how hard they want more women in the hobby, it's not really for them. And I'll take it a step further. People say they want more women in the hobby fit in one category. And maybe I use, oh, you're lying, you're sexist. I'm not. In order to make the hobby bigger, what they really mean is they want more money. They want their cards to be worth more. They want their investments to be worth more. And so what they're telling themselves, Kevin O'Leary, is very common to him if you watch him on Shark Tank, we're missing 50% of the population. That's what any big money investor corporate world is thinking. 50% of the population isn't even in this. So imagine if we got a little sliver of that demographic. Well, guess what? We'd make a lot more money. So again, I'm going to give a shout out to women. They're more reasonable. They see through things better. They're better long-term planners. What do they want to do with these guys in the industry? And I also would say to most people that say we need more women, more kids, no, you just want more people in the hobby so you can sell more or your cards or investments can be worth more. And some of the line of thinking is if we get even a little sliver of that demographic, everything's 10x, everything's 100x because we're missing part of the demographic. We're only appealing to 23-year-old men right now. So let's bring in a couple cute chicks to we got to do this. Sorry, that's maybe not true. I don't know about that part, but I do believe that women are more reasonable. They're better long-term planners. They're less likely to want to scam you in this industry, and they see through the Sigma energy. So a little bit of a hot take, but we'll get Rhonda's thoughts tomorrow. Hardcore Collector just called in. I'm going to have to remove him or remove myself. We will take him for a bit, see what he has to say on this, and so you're going to have to give me 15 seconds. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, bud? How you guys doing? Just for the record, I'm not a hot chick, okay? He said he's going to bring some hot chicks on, and then he pulled me on. I just want to put that out there. Hopefully everybody's doing good, man. There's a few things I wanted to talk about. I'll make it pretty quick. Wait for him to come back on. Hopefully, Gio, all you guys are doing good. I don't know where he's at. All right, I'm just going to start so we're not having dead air. One of the things I want to talk about, I mean, he kind of hit it, but one of the things I want to talk about real quick is just, Snipe is a new company coming on the marketplace, right? And I kind of see this now. First of all, these thoughts are those of my own and mine only. So I want to get that out of the way right now. That my opinion that I'm going to give here isn't on Professor or anybody else. And it's all speculation, okay? But I look at this situation, and this could be something, if we go like real extreme tinfoil hat like, where it could be like problem, reaction.
I thought I was in. I wasn't in. What's this guy?
Good.
Hardcore. I don't know what the hell happened there. I was talking to. I got kicked. Hey, Hardcore. What are you talking about?
I was going to make it quick about Snipe. You kind of mentioned something about it, but like I kind of look at this a little differently. These views are that of my own, not yours or anybody else's. So, and it's very like tinfoil hat like. But I look at this as like problem, reaction, solution. So I'm not saying this situation happened exactly on purpose. But at some point down the road, I could see, and it's funny because I was thinking of this before you had like put, something out there about Snipe, because, Snipe is supposed to have like, tracking record of who's putting in bids on stuff or whatever. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ryan, Patrick Ryan or whatever, if later on he comes out and he's like, you know what, this is why we need to use the Snipe platform because, it stops shield bidding and it shows history of this. And so it gets foot traffic over to Snipe.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it stops it, but it definitely helps put something out there better than nothing.
But Snipe has to figure out a way to compete with the other, marketplaces like eBay and whatnot and Fanatics
So
Live.
your
And
advice
so,
to P Ryan is to endorse Snipe.
say again, sorry.
Your advice to P Ryan is to endorse Snipe.
No, I think that's
No.
what's going to happen.
Okay.
I think Ryan, either it was planned or it's
Well,
not
what he
planned.
should know,
but
I
in
don't
the-
think it definitely wasn't planned. That
the-
shit was
the
not
end result-
planned.
Well, I don't know. The end result is going to be, Ryan probably supporting Snipe because he'd be like, you know what, this is why we need to all go over to Snipe. and put
the
our
other guys
cards
are
on
going to compete too. You have to, if they see this and lose business, guess what they're going to add? They're going to add it's good for everybody. Then they'll add the public. They'll make it be public.
I'm
They'll
just
have to
saying it would be.
compete.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying it would be convenient if Snipe comes out of this the winner. And look, if they're putting out a good product and what they're presenting, for people to come over there.
I
and
think
you
you're
can see-
reaching. I think you're heavily reaching.
It probably is. It probably is a little bit, or maybe a lot of it. But I'm just saying it could be something to look out for in the future. If
What
at
else
the end
did
of
you
this-
have to say on this subject? Where else does your mind go?
That's it. I said everything the other day. So
right,
I
and
think
you
you
had
did
a-
a good job
you had some
covering it,
great-
bro. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, dude. And you have some great points you want to bring up tomorrow. So I look forward to talking tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll save those for tomorrow.
All
All right. Thanks,
bro.
man. Have a good night.
Later. Woo! Another caller. Let's do. Oh boy, controversial guy in the room. Controversial. Let's see what he has to say. Mr. Charles, how you doing?
Controversy, huh? So you got the message I sent you. This
Oh, get closer to
afternoon.
that mic.
Can you hear me?
Yep, get closer to the
Okay.
mic. A little closer.
All right. Now can you hear me?
Yep, shoot. What do you got?
So I sent you this thing. I found it on Reddit about Arena Club sending out emails asking, "Are you okay? We haven't seen you."
Oh, I got
in a
that
while."
too. You want me when you leave, I'll share that right now. Yes, I someone sent that to me.
It was me. I was the one.
Oh,
who sent that
you
to you.
sent it to me. Okay,
Yeah,
well, we need
it
to
took you
show
while I was
that
at
because
work.
that was good.
It got into the Collectors MD chat, and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?"
What did you send that to me on?
It was on Instagram.
I'm looking. All right, well, I'll check it out after
You
leave,
reacted
but-
to it, so you saw it.
No, I just can't find it at the moment. But anyhow, yeah, no, that explain to people what that was. That is worth talking about.
So basically it's on it was on Reddit. So if you don't go on Arena Club and rip packs for a while, they'll send you an email saying, "Are you okay? We haven't seen you in a while. I hope I don't get in trouble with my boss for talking to you, but we would love to see you back." And I'm like, that's about the most predatory fucking email you could ever send to
Now,
somebody.
is it confirmed it was a real email?
That's the thing. There, I don't know if it's 100% real or not, but I haven't seen anyone come out and say it's absolutely not either.
I just put it up. So when you leave, I'll highlight it.
Yeah, it tracks. So that's all I'm saying. It tracks along with their pattern of behavior because that's what Arena Club does. And that's why I'm kind of disappointed.
Would
It's
we
like,
not
I want-
hate Arena Club as much if they just came out and said they were a gambling app?
If they would
I
just
wouldn't
come out
hate
with a
them as much.
disclaimer saying for Gamblers Anonymous, talk that. Talking about we're cards. We don't do any of that. Bullshit. Just come out and act like you're DraftKings or whatever. Just embrace it instead of just acting like you're above that. You're not above it. You're doing the same thing a bookie would do if you haven't bet in 2 weeks. Like, hey, so we haven't heard from you, buddy. Hope everything's well. Yeah, I'm broke and I'm, in the hospital or whatever the fuck. So
I'm going to
Yes.
highlight that now. Charles, is there anything else you wanted to say before I do that?
Shield bidding,
topic or-
shield bidding is shield bidding. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's shield bidding, no matter how you slice it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sports Card Radio has.
Hey now. All right, Charles. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace
Have
out.
a good night. Yeah, Sports Card Radio in 30 minutes. I'd assume some of you that are here, if you've never gotten a taste, you'll get your taste tonight because there's a lot of new people around. And I hope we all hope they don't disappoint. We all hope they bring it like they have in the past. And I also hope they're not ripping Arena Club slabs, but we'll find out soon enough. I'm going to share what Charles was talking about, and then I think we'll wind down from there. I'm going to go to the bathroom, get ready to reset. And then what am I doing? Yeah, share. Here we go. Unfortunately, I can't make it any. Can we make it bigger? Yes. It says, Arena Club auction site. So if this is, someone really made it look like it was the case. If not, we're worried about you. Hey, blank. Hey, Joe, it's me. the guy who writes all the emails at Arena Club. I normally don't send emails like this, but are you good? 1 minute you were ripping slab packs, and then you just stopped. Hope everything is well. If it is, you should go rip another slab pack so my boss doesn't get mad at me for not being able to convince you to rip another pack. Now, that part's a little fishy. I mean, it's just not the most professional email in the world or message in the world, so you have to wonder. But in the comments, this is a weird predatory email to get you back into ripping their packs, not even a discount code. I've seen similar emails from other betting sites to try and get you to return by offering some discount. So I noted that too and agree with you. I've seen these. Psychologically full, 60-85. Not cool in my opinion. We all know Arena Club is gambling. To me, it borders on predatory. I've never received an email like this from FanDuel or DraftKings, probably because their legal team would advise against it. Emails like this will be scrutinized more as Arena Club gets bigger, effed up. I would screenshot this and blow it up on Twitter or X, link the comment, I'll retweet it. This is awful. I can't, I'm only going off what's this post. It does look like Arena Club, but it's 2025. People can make anything. But what's the incentive here by Oki Afterbirth to do this? Reads like AI to me, in my opinion, predatory, since this is essentially gambling. It's not essentially gambling. It's literally gambling. There's 0.05. So it's not just me. It's not just me that has these thoughts. There's 1.1% chance to get one of the 5 cards that are higher valued, and then they rotate. So there's always new cards coming in. So that odd never changes. The shady part is when you buy a scratch-off ticket, you can see exactly how many of each valuation winner there is and the odds of getting each one. Arena doesn't post the valuation of the cards. You could pull valuation, I mean their offer price. If you choose that, you cannot calculate your odds of breaking. Based on the comments, I'm the only one who thinks this is pretty funny and probably would buy if they sent me this email. I ripped 2 packs and got this message a few days later, not that long ago. I thought it was messed up too. So there's other people saying they got this same message. Wow, fucking insane. For the love of God, will people finally do away with this crappy place? They are in it for the money. And they have a lot of money. You don't advertise the way they do. These guys aren't all picking up their advertisements and 2-minute spots on ripping this stuff if they weren't paying a ton of money. So, and it's the last thing I would advise anyone getting in cards. Yeah, go play Arena Club. And that's what bothers me by some of these other guys who I really respect and like, that, I just don't understand why they take this money. Hey, we got a first-time caller, respected, and this will be interesting. Jeremy, I'm going to have to leave because I get an echo. I know, amateur hour. But, hey, Jeremy Lee's calling in. Jeremy, I'll be right back.
Are you sure you got an echo? You got an echo? I'll wait for you to come back, Jason.
Jeremy, nice of you to call. How we doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Wow. All right. 2 of the bigger lives in one room. Jeremy, what made you call in?
I was tipped off that my name came up, that I work with several auction companies in the space. And so I thought I'd just call in and,
Yeah, I think this is a moment for change. I think this is a moment that we shouldn't, P. Ryan could be a tab, but that's the small fish. The bigger thing is it exposes some of the problems. Why can you consign a card and then that's a lot for the auction house to track. And apparently some of them, Fanatics, you can end up bidding on your own card. That somehow we have to fix that.
The problem is so much bigger than people know and people realize. Shill bidding is almost every auction house allows for it. They allow for it, but they allow for it in a way that makes it sound like it's okay. They basically, and you can look at the terms and conditions. In the last I don't know, few weeks, I've been analyzing the terms and conditions of 26 different auction houses.
Hey now, all right.
And I'm looking at 4 policies. I'm looking at reserve policies, employee bidding policies, house bidding policies, and shill bidding policies. And in some cases where some auction houses are silent on a couple of those, I'm reaching out and I'm saying, hey, what are your policies? So I've got 26, like I said, 26 auction companies in our space, and I've looked at all 4 policies for each of them, and I'm kind of blown away by what is in these
Good.
things, what is in
Good.
these terms and conditions, and just how in the dark we all are, myself included. You're bidding in an auction at an auction house, and it's funny which ones are like this, but there's a really good chance that the auction house, if there's a reserve on the item, and you may not know, reserves can be confidential, as in the auction house doesn't disclose that there's even a reserve, or they can be made public with a little symbol or the reserve not met yet sort of indicator. And almost all of them have a clause that says that the auction company will or is enabled to place a bid on behalf of the consignor up to 1 bid increment below the reserve, such that the next bid that comes through by a legit third-party buyer is going to win the item or hit the reserve and pay for it. And my thoughts on that are that, like, at first I think to myself, well, it's a reserve. Okay. What's the real damage here? Is there any, and there is damage here, and I don't like it at all. And here's the biggest problem I have. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Or
here we go. All right, let's hear it.
But the biggest problem that I have with it is that it's misleading legitimate buyers into thinking that there's more interest in the item.
That's what I said. That's right. It creates a false demand.
These bids by the auction company on behalf of the consignor.
That's right.
This is freaking shill bidding. I mean, listen.
So
I think it's shill bidding. Some people don't.
I have 2 questions for you. 1, a lot of love in the chat for what you're doing in that, and that's really great. And number 2, I mean, I know you know people. How much change can you inspire? How much can you do?
I'm going to inspire change. I'm going to be inspiring change. I'm going to try and make a difference here because, and it was said earlier, I don't know if you said it or someone else said it, but I've been working with auction companies in our space for 5 years. I've been invoicing several auction companies in our space for 5. You know this, Jason. We've talked. Most people know it if you know who I am, because I have shows on my channel where I do auction showcases and auction watch parties for some of these companies. And I didn't even know that this was policy. It's in the terms and conditions. And but the biggest problem is that as soon as an auction house puts a bid on an item they are listing for their consignor, it counts as a bid. You can be the only legit third-party buyer, and you can make 10 bids, let's say, and the auction company, to hit that reserve, can bid 10 more times. So now there's 20 bids on the item, Jason.
So messed up. I know it creates a frenzy now.
There's no other bidders. There's no other bidders. You're bidding against the guy that owns the freaking card.
You know a lot more than I do. So my generic one fix is, I think Snipes doing this, is you make every bid public. So where is the pushback, or why wouldn't they want that? Or why don't some of the bidders want that? Because that seems like if we could see everyone's bid history or what's been bid, that could fix some of it.
I think that's a great solution. Make it all public, but they won't, because it takes away the ability to manipulate. It also creates perhaps some privacy issues. But there are, guys, here's something even more crazy. There are even auction companies in the space who overtly allow shill bidding. I've got all the, like I said, I've done my research. I've got all the auction companies, all the articles that are offensive to this hobby. And I want to read you one of them. Just give me a second. I'm going to read you one thing here. I have them all stored in a folder now, so I can get them quickly here. So I want to read you. Listen to this, and I won't tell you the auction company yet, but here's what it says. Article 13 under conducting the auction reads, notice of the consignor's liberty, notice of the consignor's liberty to place bids on his lots in the auction is hereby made in accordance with Article 2 of the Texas Business and Commercial Code. Right there. Liberty to place bids on your own item is hereby made. Shill away.
That's odd.
Shill away. That's what
Shill
it's
away.
Shill away. And not only in the same auction company, article 9,
A big auction company, an auction company we all know.
the biggest.
The biggest.
Article 21 reads, from time to time, the auctioneer, its affiliates, or their employees may consign items to be sold in the auction. And Article 22 reads, from time to time, the auctioneer, its affiliates, or their employees may place bids on lots in the auction. I mean, I think that for an auction company to be, to follow hobby etiquette that we talk about on all of our discussions, I don't care if you have a reserve. Have a reserve all you want, but employees should be banned from bidding on anything in your auction. Number one, that goes without saying for me. Number two, you should have a specific anti-shill bid clause in your terms and conditions. Not all of them do. They don't all have that. And I think the ones that don't, maybe just like it's like they didn't think of it. But the ones that actually say, like deliberately say, oh, you can shill, you can bid on your own auctions. I just couldn't believe it when I discovered this. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and then,
well, amen for
house
doing
bidding.
the work, man. Awesome that
House
you're doing
bidding,
some of that
Jason.
work.
Several, if not most of the auction houses are allowed to bid on behalf of the consigners up to one increment below the reserve, which just start the auction at the reserve. Start it at the minimum bid.
That's right.
So we've all been duped, I feel like, for a long time as for who we're bidding against. Is there really a third party bidder? And I don't know. Listen, I don't know that we don't know what's been shill bid on. We just don't know. But it's now like it's mind blowing. It's mind and I would caution against bidding on many unless you don't care and you just want to win the item and you know what you're willing to pay for the item, and you don't mind being shill bid up. Well, maybe you just want that item. You can't find anywhere else to get it. You got to pay what you got to pay. I mean, maybe then you in your own mind can justify bidding on these things, but it's troublesome. To me, it's troublesome, especially since I earn my income working with many of these companies. So what I'm doing to try and affect change, Jason, is, and I've been alluding to this for months on my own channel, but I'm publishing a book very soon. It's basically done.
That's right. Hey, now.
And all this research I've been doing is for Appendix F. Appendix F is going to basically be auction house policies on employee bidding, shill bidding, reserves, and whatever the fourth one is.
Oh, I didn't know it was. You didn't tell me it was about that. That's interesting. Okay, so that has some depth to it.
Well, Jason, that is one. It's only one appendix. It's Appendix F. I've got 83 chapters and 7 appendices in my book. It's not a short book, and but it's also not 500 pages. But it's going to be over 300 pages in a 6x9 book, and it's and in one of the appendices, it's going to have a very detailed list of 26 companies and their policies on these 4 items.
What else can be done besides making it public? What else can be done to try to stop shill bidding?
Stop bidding. Stop bidding. Nothing else can
I mean,
be done.
there's just this is you know how this industry is.
Well, as you know, it's like anything in this industry. You want to keep complaining about prices. You're going to keep complaining about prices of packs. Well, stop buying them, you freaking idiots. Seriously, put your money where your mouth is and stop buying. Stop buying if you don't want prices to go up. Problem is that this community on YouTube and Instagram, we're dropping the bucket really. So I'm hoping that Appendix F of my book will make the rounds and people will find out about it and understand what they're dealing with. What they're dealing with across, like I said, 26 auction companies. There are a couple that are so clean that, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not here to promote or demote any auction company right now, but I'll just tell you, there are a couple auction companies who are super clean, and I'd have no issue ever bidding on their
Oh, the
items. I would
people
be
will
so-
love to hear when you tell us who that is.
Well, they're a couple of the newer ones, to be honest. They're smaller and newer. The big ones have all these legacy terms and conditions, and they're in there. And a lot of these legacy T's and C's come from auction companies. It didn't start in sports cards. They started in fine art or classic vehicles, and a lot of their policies just transferred over to sports cards and memorabilia. And I don't know if they deliberately want these policies to be in there. Orlando's right. CIA Auctions is probably the cleanest, and it's not only because they speak to all 4 policies that I'm looking at, but they also have a policy that states that if an item does not, I think if an item doesn't get paid for, they will not relist that item for 6 months, which no one else does. And the reason for that policy is so that if you're the consignor and you're shilling and you don't, you have your friend win it for you and you don't pay for it, you can't just have it relisted and try again. They're going to wait 6 months.
No, they're trying. They're trying. That's good.
And it's funny. I remember talking to Jeremy and Chris about that before they launched CIA, and I helped them come up with that policy. So I'm pretty proud of that. And but listen, we can pick and choose who we buy from, as long as you're willing to let some cards go. That might be,
I have to ask you. You're here, and it's been in the news, and you don't have to comment on it. But a lot of people are talking about that Joe Jackson card.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Any comments, or not? You don't even want to go there?
I had a chat with Dan's Vintage Baseball today, and he asked me the same thing, and I said, well, as far as I know, and by the way, I've been at the expo in Toronto for the past. I got back last night. I've kind of been off of content for the last week, and I see all this going on. It's crazy. But,
yes.
But as for my card, I asked Dan, why do you? I think I saw Dan's name in the chat earlier, so he might.
I met him this weekend. I got to chat with him.
So the thing is that the card that Patrick Ryan bid on Fanatics, he bid on he was only able to bid on it because it wasn't his consignment. It was acquirer's consignment. So the Fanatics the Fanatics control wasn't there, control to say, oh wait, you can't bid on your own item because it's your item. So he was able, that bid was able to go through. But when my card that he consigned to Fanatics was for sale, he wasn't using Acquire at that time. That was his own consignment. So, I mean, I don't think he shill bid it, but listen, I mean, I'm not in the guy's head. I think that there's a lot of information flowing around out there about what Patrick Ryan did, what he did or didn't do, and what his intentions were. Hi, Dan. What I'd really like to see is a freaking lie detector test. Put him on a lie detector test. Let's just find out put it to bed so everyone can stop all the theories and just put him on a do it public.
Hey, now.
Publicly. Why not? Right? Like, let's figure it out. Those things are pretty darn accurate. So let's do it. Those are my thoughts, but we'd see if it happens. I don't know the answer to Dan's question if they require proof of identity. I don't know either, Dan. I'm not sure. I might have known at one point, but I'm not sure. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I will say about my Joe Jackson.
We're finishing up. Anything closing?
Well, just about my card, because I guess people were asking, is that I've had 3 people offer to pay me what I paid for. And one person made me an offer that was like $50K more than I paid. So, I mean, that's 3 people right there, which tell me there was some legitimate bidders. So I don't listen. What does that say? Does Jeremy think? I don't think he did, but I'm not positive. I have no idea, but I don't think he did. But
Jeremy, it was awfully nice. A lot of knowledge, and I think the hobby has to all be thankful what you're doing with that research and answering a sensitive question.
My pleasure, man. Well,
hey, Jeremy, have a great night.
Take care, man.
Hey, a new caller, a not very knowledgeable caller, and I have to say, as far as lives go, probably the biggest competition in the space, but our lives are so different and so, at different times, but they're very different content in the lives. But I would say between the two, it's two of the bigger live shows. We're hour 51 minutes. There's 10 minutes and we get to see what Sports Card Radio wants to say. I hope they play the normal song, the regular song. We all want to hear the song. It's been forever. 275 at peak, about 270 here all show. Amazing. I thought I have someone helping out with the comments, right? Did a great job, really helped. I thought I came well prepared. We had some great calls. It was really cool having Jeremy Lee call in there at the end. And guys, we'll do it again tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Chris Sewell, Rhonda, AIH. And AIH messaged me saying some chat GPT post said I bought subscribers. Who the hell thinks I have the money to buy anything? 0 bot subscribers, all done off hard work. And I'd say that to my grave because it's the truth. Have a great night, ladies, gentlemen. It was fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And thanks for all being here and sharing. It was a great time. It was really a great time. Have a good night.